Oh, hey guys, I know this may come to you as some surprise, but I'm mad right now, and with good reasons. I mean, look at this! What kind of channel named Scott the Waz has more subscribers than me? I mean, Scott the Waz, what even is that?
Sounds a bit like a terminal illness to me.
Not a bad analogy there, Jontron. But you're any better. I mean, what the hell is a Jontron? What are you, a robot or something?
Like your name is any better.
What? I mean, AC negative is a name. Hello everybody from across the world, and today we're here to talk about what do video games and food have in common. Come on, there's gotta be something! Think! There's nothing, guys! There's nothing! Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I've been away for some time, but now that I'm back, I might as well check out all the new stuff I've missed. Let's see, holy frick! Doki Doki Literature Club Plus! Oh my gosh, that's amazing! What else is new? Let's see. Sonic Colors Ultimate, what? More old games releasing as new game for full price? Oh my gosh, it's amazing! What else? Alex Kidd! What? The holiday season, a time filled with joy and family. There's nothing more beautiful than that. Now, most people tend to spend the season with the people they love. Moms and dads, brothers and sisters, grandpas and grandmas. Me, on the other hand, enjoy spending my time with a red thing, a dead console, and a scary man on a PS3 controller. I never said the people I was spending my time with were normal. Gee, I hope AZ's here. AZ, what happened? It was terrible. I played the worst thing imaginable. I played the SpongeBob movie game. You mean that's not a bad game? I heard it was pretty good. No. I'm not talking about the console version. I'm talking about the Game Boy Advance version. Oh, hell no! No! Wait, come back! Now, I would think with the PS3 being my childhood console, I'd have a lot of good things to say about it. Hello Virtual Boy, hello PlayStation 3 controller, hello Sonic the Hedgehog, hello RPG God. Wait a minute. Sonic the Hedgehog, what are you doing here?
Super Mario Brothers. No, wait, that's not right. Crash Bandicoot. No, wait. Skunk the Hedgehog.
Haha! Nailed it!
PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Now, this isn't really a highly regarded game, but I do think the core gameplay in and of itself is pretty decent. Probably because the core gameplay is just Smash Brothers, but still, core gameplay is pretty good. But of course, we can't talk about Nintendo shows without mentioning their most infamous product yet. The Donkey Kong Country Show, with guess who? Donkey Kong!
And his country.
So let's talk about the most obvious issue of the show, the animation. So the show goes for a sort of 3D animation look, I guess being reminiscent of the game's pre-rendered graphics, but it comes off here as just plain old ugly. I mean, no person who was working on the show could have looked at this and said, we're good to go. Everything coupled together with the obnoxious voice acting and the character's movement, it just makes me want to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog? Sonic the Hedgehog. Everyone knows who this little guy is. An icon of the 90s. A hero of our childhoods. The fastest thing in life. Oh, damn it. I've been watching the Month of Sonic trailer way too many times. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of those characters who remains still to this day a recognizable and iconic character in the video game industry. Of course, starting out as a simple rivalry to Nintendo's Super Mario Bros., while those games focused on fun, creative, and challenging level design, Sonic on the other hand focused on appeal, marketability, and of course, attitude, and thus became a hit in the 90s. Now, of course, nowadays, when people talk about Sonic the Hedgehog on the internet, Their topics usually range from bad Sonic games, memes, Sonic the Hedgehog leaks, memes, Sonic the Hedgehog rumors, memes, Sonic Adventure 3, memes, and did I mention Sonic the Hedgehog 3? And memes! Now, Pepsi Man has received sort of a cult following in recent years, as it's been talked about non-stop on the internet, whether it's the theme song, the video game, or the character itself. So the game begins and we just see a guy drinking the hell out of a Pepsi can.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Guess the Video Game Character. And here's your first character.
Crash Bandicoot.
Correct answer was Sonic the Hedgehog.
That didn't make sense! Hedgehogs are freaking blue!
Hey, you didn't mention water levels once. What gives? Why do you hate water and why didn't you mention underwater levels?
It's because RPGs suck. Because FPSs suck. Because underwater levels suck.
2006. Probably one of the worst years in Sonic's history. 2006 was an incredibly hyped year when it came to Sonic the Hedgehog. Not only was it his 15th anniversary, but it would also be the first time we would ever see Sonic the Hedgehog in an HD title. But first, let's talk about the positive stuff. So Sonic Riders came out. Okay, back to the bad stuff. Sonic 06 is probably one of the glitchiest, ugliest, and most unfinished games I've ever seen. The story of the game is lackluster. The multiple characters don't do anything to improve the gameplay. The physics of the game are non-existent, and the design of the humans are just ugly. There's nothing about this game that screams fun. If anything, the game is only fun in an ironic way because of the glitches. Sonic 06 was originally being developed as a brand new start for Sonic the Hedgehog, a reboot, but it can't even do that right. The game treats itself like it's any other Sonic game. Hell, the gameplay of this game treats itself like it's similar to Sonic Adventure, which weren't even the last type of Sonic games released before this game. And don't get me started on the GBA port of the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. Yeah, it's safe to say that Sonic's 15th anniversary was a total train wreck. None of the games stood out, and the big game that was supposed to change Sonic forever was the game that ruined Sonic's reputation forever.
Lego. Everyone knows what Lego is. I mean, who doesn't? The concept of Lego was really simple. You have a guy and you have a bunch of bricks. But the best part about this is that you can make anything from those bricks. You can make a car, a boat, a house, a bed. Pretty much, if you could think about it, then you could probably make it from Lego. And because of this, Lego became a huge hit, selling billions of dollars worldwide and becoming one of the most successful toy lines ever to be made. With the success of Lego, they decided to get the rights of different IPs, creating Lego sets based on those IPs, such as Star Wars, DC, Marvel, Harry Potter, Back to the Future, and many more. They even decided to make their own original IPs on top of that, such as Lego Ninjago and Lego Bionicles. Lego truly became popular around the world, and like all things popular, there were video games based off them. Now when it comes to games based off original IPs, they usually end up as mixed bags. Some of these games are considered genre-defining classics and considered some of the greatest games ever to be made, and the others, they just exist. But the general consensus of these Lego games are that they're actually pretty good. Even though most of these games retain the same gameplay formula established all the way back since 2005, no one really cared. They were fun, entertaining beat-em-up / platforming action puzzle games which were great for multiplayer and were great for kids and adults alike. These games were actually pretty good. So I've decided to take a look at these Lego games, see how they evolved over the years, see how they retain the same gameplay formula, and most importantly, see how actually fun these titles are. You remember when I talked about all those random Wii games I had? Of course you do, but in that video, I also mentioned the fact that there was another console I had growing up, and of course, it's the PlayStation 3. Now I love my PlayStation 3 to death, and there's definitely a lot of good games on it, but you have to admit, the console does have a few random games. There are definitely more good games than there are random games, but in terms of my collection, yeah, a lot of them are pretty random. So I figured, hey, why not talk about some of these games to you, and say why I like them, and why I hate them.
What the hell is an orc and why is he a penguin?
Well, that's all the announcements done. Guess the video's over. Goodbye. Wait a minute. The video's still not over? Well, that's enough talking about food in platforming games. I mean, I could continue on with the 20-minute debate of why I think honeycombs from Banjo-Kazooie are the messiah of video game foods, but we're on a timer, damn it!
That's a clock.
Damn it!
Wow, I can't believe it. I really talked about every single Nintendo handout. That's really impressive. Now, wait. That's not all Nintendo handouts. I'm forgetting something, aren't I? Let's see. I remember. There was another handout. Came out before the Game Boy Advance. Came out before the N64. After the Game Boy. What was it called again? Trying to think. It's on the tip of my tongue. No, wait. It can't be. No, it can't be. No! It's pretty obvious just by looking at my channel that I'm a big fan of the quote-unquote video game channels. You know the ones. Your Scott the Wazzers, AVGNs, Peanut Butter Gamers, JonTron, before he started talking about tape. I just love these channels and I wish they received more credit than they actually have. Now, to clarify, there's a difference between gaming channels and these video game channels. Gaming channels focus on playing the games through let's plays, walkthroughs, or speedruns, while video game channels focus less on actually playing the games and more on sharing their experiences with them. And if I'm being honest, I actually prefer these channels over video game channels. And I think one of the reasons why these channels aren't talked about that much is because they don't really have a name to call their own. Now, I've seen some people use the term video game comedy channels to refer to these type of channels, and you know, this kind of makes sense. A lot of these channels do use comedy as their main source of entertainment, but this doesn't work for all channels. While some of them do have comedy in them, that's not really their main focus. Another term I've seen people use for these channels are video game review channels, and I've never seen them like that. You see, IGN and GameSpot, they review video games, but someone like Some Call Me Johnny or Antude, I've always considered them to be sharing their thoughts on a game rather than downright reviewing it. So for the sake of simplicity and not to overcomplicate things, I'm going to simply be referring to these channels as video game commentary channels, because that's what they are at the end of the day. They are video game channels that give commentary on video games.
So that's really just all that video game commentary channels do? Then why doesn't AC become one?
He is a video game commentary channel, you dummy. What do you think he's been doing the whole time?
Oh, I just thought he was an idiot or something.
I love video games. And I love food. So what do you get when you put them together? A recipe for disaster. That's what.
Ha! Food pun.
But in all seriousness, you would actually be shocked to find out how many times food and video games have been associated with each other. Whether it's limited food products to promote new games, video games made to promote food companies and brands, and of course, food in video games.
Since I have an uncontrollable love for both food and video games, it made sense to talk about both of them at the same time. I hope this is making sense to all of you guys, otherwise I've just been wasting 10 plus minutes of my life.
First person shooters, easily without a doubt one of the biggest video game genres out there. Now, everyone has experienced a first person shooter somewhere in their life, and their experience from it can range from absolutely loving them and thinking they're some of the greatest games ever to be made, or they just think they're okay. And I personally think they're just okay. Well, it's not that I hate the genre. In fact, I've even played enough FPS games to outright say I hate it. It's just that I think during the modern era, a lot of the games kind of feel oversaturated. With every new shooter we get that changes up the formula and brings new innovation towards the gameplay, we get 1,000 more war shooters with a bunch of grown men blowing up everything. But I'm not here to make fun of the FPS genre, I'm here to praise it. But if I'm gonna praise it, I have to say one or two gripes I have with it. So here is why I think FPSs suck. But of course, if I want to continue talking about these LEGO games, I have to mention LEGO Dimensions somewhere. LEGO Dimensions is an overall mixed bag, but I've already mentioned that before. But there's one thing I haven't mentioned about this game, and it's the fact that this title is so slow. Okay, so most LEGO games are known for their building feature. It's pretty much the main gimmicks of all these games. You build an item which will help you progress through a level. LEGO Dimensions, of course, has the same thing, except they make it a lot more tedious. First of all, you have to get up from your chair, walk to your broken gamepad, hold a character and place them on a glowing spot, then walk back. But then you realize you have to pick up another character and put them on a glowing spot, so you do that, put them on a glowing spot, and then build another piece of the item. Then you realize you probably have to do it with a third character, so you just stand there, wait for the next glowing spot, place the character there, and then the whole item is built. Then you go back to your chair and you just feel tired and all of that, and just why is it so tedious? Now, Sonic the Hedgehog has been around for a while, but it was only after 10 years of Sonic the Hedgehog being created when Sega actually decided to give a damn and celebrate Sonic's legacy. Sonic at this point had already received quite a few titles, with his most popular game during this time being Sonic Adventures. So what are you gonna do when your most popular Sonic game is a Sonic game abbreviated as SA? You make another Sonic game that's abbreviated as SA. In the year 2013, the world was gifted with the release of the PS4. Unlike the PS3, which took a while before it became popular, the PS4 was a hit at launch. The PS4 offered a huge variety of games, and over the years, the numbers keep increasing.
Now, I'll admit that when the PS4 first launched, it didn't have the greatest variety of games, but over the years, the number of games have increased and we've gotten some amazing titles on the console, like God of War, Uncharted 4, Spider-Man PS4, Ratchet & Clank PS4, and many more. The PS4 era also marks the era in which video game remakes were everywhere. Instead of companies pumping out new original titles that took full advantage of their consoles, they instead remade games from over 20 years ago. Along with that, the PS4 also offered us great sequels and reboots to games from before. We got games like Resident Evil 7 that finally brought back the Resident Evil franchise back to the survival horror genre. And by just looking at this game, you can tell that a lot of care and effort was made to making sure that this game had great atmosphere. We've also gotten games like Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that's often considered one of the greatest open world titles ever to be made. Just looking at the game, the graphics are fantastic. Like, if you told me this was an early PS5 game, I would believe you. But of course, not all sequels have been treated the same. We got games like Crash Bandicoot 4, a game that's generally well received, but is criticized for being so difficult to 100% complete. We also have games like The Last of Us 2. Now, this game is generally praised for its gameplay. In fact, people consider its gameplay better than the first, but the story was massively hated amongst fans. Now, despite these inconsistencies in the quality of these games, the PS4 was still a well-received console across the board. Everything coupled together with its graphics, variety of games, variety of exclusive games, made the PS4 a standout. So the game seems to be a boost formula game with larger, more open worlds. Now, we don't know if it's going to be different levels which are larger than the previous games, or if it's just going to be one gigantic world like Breath of the Wild where it's free to roam using the boost formula. I'm personally leaning towards larger single levels than one gigantic open world like Breath of the Wild, because why would you want these two games mixing together? Now, I haven't been fully sold on the game yet because I'd rather see a gameplay trailer than just the CGI cutscene, but I'm still intrigued of what it could be like. It seems as though Sega is really trying to make Sonic consistently good again, and I just hope they can succeed in that.
Sonic the Hedgehog, practically infamous for the underwater levels it has. Sonic 1 in particular has probably some of the worst underwater levels in video game history. Labyrinth Zone is a good example of how not to design a Sonic level, nay, just how not to design a video game level in general. Sonic is all about speed. His whole purpose is just to run fast, gain momentum, and zoom past the stage, and every level up to this point has generally kept with this theme. Labyrinth Zone, on the other hand, flips his whole concept around.
You know, it seems like everyone's talking about the evolution of PlayStation consoles, but you know what? No one ever seems to talk about the evolution of PlayStation controllers.
Oh my gosh, guys, the PS1 controller, I mean, look at this thing. I mean, 2 sticks, triggers on the back. This is easily, without a doubt, the perfect video game controller. The PS2 controller, sticking to the design of the original controller. You know what I say, guys, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, what did I do to the PS3 controller? No, go back, go back, go back! Well, I'm glad they went back to the original design of the PS1 controller. It just looks uninspired overall. This looks like a massive disappointment. Oh, scratch that! This one has Kratos controller! This is the best day ever! Finally, the PS4 controller doing something new for once. Can't wait to see what they do for the PS5.
You know, in retrospect, that was a pretty bad idea.
So you know Farming Simulator? Yeah, well, it's like that, but cooking. And I gotta say, Cooking Simulator actually makes me feel like I'm really cooking. Something I've never been able to do before.
When it comes to the entertainment industry, there's no bigger stinker than that of video games. You see, movies, TV shows, and literature are generally praised with such high regards, and video games are considered more of an afterthought than anything. And while you get millions of people who absolutely adore video games, most people generally say things like,
Wow, this looks cool, but I think I'm gonna watch Avengers Endgame for the 1,000th time.
but it's not like people don't try with video games. Just like books and comics, video games get adapted into films, and that's a whole nother story. It's common knowledge at this point that video games don't have the best track record of getting good films. I mean, sure, sometimes you get pretty decent films out of video games, but most of the times it's either a Street Fighter or Super Mario Bros. But one thing I find strange is that no one ever seems to talk about the TV shows based on video games, which is odd considering they've been around way longer than there have been video game movies.
So, today I'm here to talk about whether or not these things are good. They're not that good. I really enjoyed these LEGO titles. I thought I was gonna hate them, but I actually found some enjoyment out of these titles. It was really nice talking about these games. Ain't that right, LEGO Batman? Wait, where did LEGO Batman go? Wait, if LEGO Batman's all the way there, that means LEGOs are alive! Ah!
Ha ha ha. I love messing with people. Ha 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 ha.
Wait. What?
Yeah, I never played on a Virtual Boy. So what?
Then why do you hate me so much?
I don't know. I guess it's because so many people say that you're a bad console, and I just decided to call you a bad console. But that was wrong. I should have got to know you first and then decide whether you're good or bad. And after finally knowing you for this entire video, I can finally say, without a doubt, that I hate you even more!
Why?
Because you shot me and tried to kidnap me. That's why. Now can you please let me go? I did all the things you asked me to do. I talked about all those consoles. I did the thing. Now can I please go?
Alright then. You're free to leave.
Now what? Now the transition from 2D to 3D was a revolutionary point in the video game industry. Characters being built out of 3D polygons instead of sprites, analog button controls, and of course the most important one, being able to control your character in a 3D environment. Now it's pretty obvious that 3D games were way harder to develop for than 2D games, mainly due to the fact that while it's in 3D, designing for 3D is far more complex than it is to design for 2D, but some game developers managed to do it, and one company that was able to successfully transition their character from 2D to 3D was Nintendo. Super Mario 64 was a revolutionary title in the world of gaming, showing everyone just how fun it was to control Mario in a 3D environment, and the level of control was incredible. For being Nintendo's very first fully 3D title, Mario 64 controls quite well. Now obviously it's not as good as modern gaming titles, but even back then, it's still pretty fun to control.
It's pretty common knowledge at this point that any event that occurs is usually celebrated on a yearly basis, whether it's birthdays, marriages, movie releases, 15 years of SMOSH, actually no one cares about that, or anything else. Anniversaries are the ways to go, and of course, video games get this treatment as well.
Well, I'm so glad we finally got to talk about food in video games. And of course, we can't forget the most important lesson we learned today, which of course is Coke's better than Pepsi.
Sonic Colors was released on the Wii, which was a severely underpowered console compared to the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Now I imagine Sega did this intentionally so that Sonic Colors could attract the Wii's main target demographic, frickin' everybody. But because of this, it makes it so that Sonic Colors could never reach its fullest potential it could have had if it was released on a better console with better specs. And this kind of makes Sonic Colors the black sheep of the Boost Formula games. I mean, it's the only Boost Formula game that's not in HD, the only Boost Formula game that doesn't have a standout gimmick, the only Boost Formula game that's not bad, the only Boost Formula game that's not great, not even the only Boost Formula game that's in between. It's just there, and it's fine.
But yeah, I actually really enjoyed the SpongeBob movie game on Game Boy Advance, but in terms of the quality of this game compared to its console game, I can't really say. Both games seems to be mixed overall, so pick your poison I guess, but in terms of my opinion, I actually really enjoyed this title. But at least I'm done of talking about all the SpongeBob GBA games. It's not like there's any more. There's more, isn't there? I'm done. I can't. I'm done.
Okay, I'm sure some people were expecting Halo 3, but we'll get to that. In the meantime, Half-Life 2 is often considered one of the greatest games ever made, and I haven't played it.
That definitely deserves a brownie break. Now, hey, someone's locking the door. Let's go see who that is. Hey, Butcher Boy, it's good to see you again. So sorry I said all this stuff. Hey, what's that in your hand?
Probably one of the most successful of these channels was Scott the Woz. Scott the Woz was just a random gaming channel that came out of nowhere, but once he reached popularity, he became a video game commentary channel icon. You see, Scott the Woz focused less on shouting and screaming and swearing and more of just being funny. He tried his hardest to be funny without having to do elaborate skits like JonTron or crazy editing like Peanut Butter Gamer. He just tried his best to say something that was funny. Coupled together with the fact that it took him an incredibly short time just to make a video meant that we'll be seeing funny content from him pretty much every week.
The Super Mushroom, one of the most iconic power-ups of all time. I mean, it practically defines what Mario is. Pretty much every Mario game has some version of the Super Mushroom in it, making it one of the most recognizable items in all of video games. Even if you haven't played a Mario game, you definitely know what a Super Mushroom looks like. Now in Mario 1, Lost Levels, and 3, the Super Mushroom works the same. You grab it as Small Mario, and then you turn into Big Mario. However, if you're already playing as Big Mario, grab it as him, and then you get a Fire Flower instead. It's a pretty fun system that's worked well in every game. Until Super Mario 2 USA ruins it.
That's it. It's time to review the FPS games. Except there's one problem.
What is it? What's the problem?
FPSs suck! Well, that was the evolution of PlayStation consoles. And you know what? After talking about PlayStation so much, I'm feeling like playing some games. And you all know what console I'm about to play on. Yes, come on. Yes! Oh, were you all expecting something else? Come on! It's Nintendo!
Most modern FPS games are either war titles which focus on realism and grittiness and all of that, or they're super awesome space adventures with laser guns and swords and all of that stuff. There's really no uniqueness. And I'm not even joking about this. Look on screen, I have two games. One is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and the other is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Can you guess which game is which? Don't worry, I'll give you a few seconds. Did you get the answer? Well, you're all wrong! The answer was Medal of Honor Airborne. You see what I mean? These games just all look the same.
Full Spot is probably a good example of this. Being a side-scrolling platformer released on the Mega Drive/Genesis and the SNES in the mid-90s already gave it a lot of mass appeal. In case you're wondering, Cool Spot was the mascot of 7-Up back in the 90s, and mascots were the thing back then, so it only made sense why he'd be put in a video game. And I gotta say, Cool Spot isn't that bad. Now, it's nothing amazing or anything, but I do think it has some appeal to it. Now, Cool Spot himself has such a nice, charming, simple design, and is very expressive, especially in-game, and the level design of this game is quite good. Now, again, it's nothing amazing or anything, but from the few levels I have played, I've quite enjoyed myself. Minecraft. Sega did Minecraft. Sega put Sonic the Hedgehog in Minecraft. You can now play Sonic levels in Minecraft. They did Minecraft. And I gotta admit, my little brain went giddy the whole time. I guess the reason why these levels are so large is so that you have enough running speed to use the game's new time travel mechanic. That's right, in Sonic CD you can now time travel. All you have to do is find a time post that says either past or future, run a bit, and then voila, you're either in the past or the future. Well, we can officially confirm there was no building here 100 years ago.
After taking a look at all the Sonic games, I feel much more comfortable with my video game characters. So what do you say we do a second round of Guess the Video Game Characters? Drunk Uncle, Other Drunk Uncle, Princess Zelda, Mike Wazowski, Sonic the Hedgehog. Damn it! Oh, hey, you've really seemed to have caught me at a bad time. But don't worry, now that you're here, I guess I have the opportunity to show you around the place. Alright, so starting off, I have probably one of the most beloved things you'll ever see. The chair. This is pretty much where all the magic happens. This chair right here is where every simple idea I've ever come up with has been. And this chair is a magical place where I get to share my events, share my stories, and just share anything interesting I have. This chair right here, this chair I'm sitting right on, this is a pretty good chair. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to show you is something that I'm really proud of owning. Something that I've been trying to look for a really long time, and that when I finally found it, it was something I just had to have. And I'm really happy to finally be sharing it with you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to The Wall.
Also, there was another show airing alongside the Super Mario Bros. Show, The Legend of Zelda cartoon. And guess what?
What?
It wasn't that good.
No!
You remember when I said that one of Nintendo's handhelds was the second best-selling console of all time? Well, that's the DS. Now, what made the DS so special? Simple. It had two whole screens. Now, what makes two whole screens special? Nothing really, but still, two screens on one console, pretty mind-blowing. And besides that, they had tons of features. Like, the DS is known for being pretty much an iPhone way before iPhones were even made. You had touch controls, you had texting applications, you could even download games. They were small games, mind you, but they were still games nonetheless. And in terms of the main games they had tons of hitters, like New Super Mario Bros., Mario 64 on the go, and Metroid Prime Hunters, just to name a few. The DS was incredible, and was one of the greatest Nintendo consoles ever to be made. It had so much going for it, and it really delivered on everything. It was an amazing console, and if you had to get any of the consoles I've mentioned on this video, I'd highly suggest you get the DS. It is incredible. The 3DS, on the other hand, not so much. So, to finally answer my questions, do FPSs suck or do they rule? I don't know, man, it's your decision, crying out loud.
But now I have to talk about the bad news. I accidentally mentioned Super Monkey Ball, and now I have to talk about it. Yeah, so like there's a monkey and they eat bananas. Happy 20th anniversary, Super Monkey Ball.
Final Fantasy VII is considered one of the best and most influential games out there. And guess who hasn't played it? In the year 2000, we were gifted with the release of the PlayStation 2, a console that's not only known for being the second installment in the PlayStation lineup of consoles, but it's also known for being the best-selling console of all time. The PS2 dominated the 6th generation of consoles, but to be fair, its only real competition was an Xbox and a lunchbox, so let's be fair, we all knew who was going to win this console war.
Overall, Lego Batman was a very fun game, but there was one problem I had with it. It's not as good as its sequel.
Look guys, there it is! The pool! Rebels, attack! While it may have not have been Sonic's birthday, it doesn't matter. It was still fun taking a look at Sonic's Anniversaries. Isn't that right, Sonic the Hedgehog? Damn it!
Burger King made their own video game. You sneak up to people and give them burgers. That's it. It's about 3 hours long. That's all you do. Gameplay rarely changes. That's it. That's the whole game. That's all you do. That's it. People really love talking about how much they really love hating this title. To be fair, a game that advertises the fact that you run incredibly fast sure has a lot of precise platforming moments. I mean, when we start off with Green Hill Zone, the game works fine. Sonic's running fast, just like the game advertised. And then the game developers just gave up. So, when designing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the game developers only had one idea in their mind. Make Sonic go fast and only make him go fast. Oh yeah, and give him his own Luigi, I guess.
Yahoo!
And the third and worst reason possible, Sonic can't breathe underwater. So get this, in a level where the entire thing is filled with water, where it's designed to be a confusing maze, making it hard to traverse, your character can only stay underwater for a short period of time before they start to drown. Labyrinth Zone is just the worst. The worst. The worst. Come on, yes! Nothing like relaxing and playing games. Right, RPG God?
That's right, AZ Negative.
Nothing can ruin this perfect day. What the hell is that? So that was video game commentary channels. And love them or hate them, they're there. And I think they're gonna be there for a while. And hey, that's not such a bad thing. But there's still one lingering question that I have in my head. What the hell is an orc and why is he a penguin?